All right, today we're going to jump into, of course, the altcoin ecosphere and really kind of the number of coins that are priming what I think could be some great entry points for you on your plan. My name is Paul Barron. Welcome back to TechPath. Everybody's been talking about Solana, Avalanche, Algorand, and of course, fully due they should be. This is something we'll touch on today. There are some big things happening in all of these spaces, and I want to kind of jump to the first one, and that is the Solana ecosystem. When you look at Solana's ecosystem and just going down through the list, let's jump over here to the ecosystem. And you can kind of look, of course, Chainlink is not a Solana, but you look at Audius right here, of course, which just had a recent breakout. Audius is built on Solana. There's quite a few here. Ren, you've got coming in here, Serum. A lot of these, but if you look at where they have kind of been flowing, what I am concerned with, I wish we could have a 30-day on this, is to really look at where the performance has been over the last week, which has all been in a spiral moving down, mostly in the ecosystem. Again, this is the reason because of the mainnet problem that Solana had. But fear not, for all you Solana lovers out there that I know you are, there is an entry point on where you should be looking and purchasing Solana and getting back into the game. Maybe you were on the ride and you sold. I hope that was the case. You sold at the top or as close to the top as you could. Now, maybe you've recoiled and you're looking at some other altcoins to go out there and buy. We're going to talk about each one of them. I want to jump over to a couple of other things that are happening in the space that will have a very big impact, I believe, on several tokens and projects. The first one is this one right here, which is the world's first Fantom Developer Conference. This is coming out of Abu Dhabi. And I think when you look at where this is going, and what I see is anytime that a lot of groups start to get together like this, they start to collaborate, these are big money moves, they start to learn more about what's happening at this. And when you see what's happening in Dubai at what they are calling the Fantom Foundation, the team behind the high throughput decentralized smart contracts, etc., is going to be holding this in October. Right after this date, watch it. Let me accept that so you guys can see a little bit further. But right after this date, I think we're going to see Fantom start an ascent back into an opportunity. So you could almost pin it to this date. Kind of reference this to what happened at the SALT conference in unhitching Ethereum. And also, I think, giving even Bitcoin a little bit of a boost just because of Cathie Wood. So imagine when you get actual big-time investors, big-time institutions, and also the whole elite of cryptocurrency in on this Fantom Developer Conference. That's the one I like. I'm really watching this. And as we continue to track down many of these conferences, because the fall is kind of the year, or the time of the year that we start to see a lot of these conferences develop. And it's one that I think is going to be the key point in being able to drive Fantom back off the floor. Right now, Fantom has been falling. This is one of those that could be a price entry somewhere in that 120 range, pending on what happens in the next couple of days. And obviously, as we see this date coming up in October. And remember, as ETH flies, as Bitcoin flies, so do these altcoins. So be ready for this to see a big breakout. The other one that I'm looking at is this event right here, which is on November the 7th in Lisbon. Guess who this is? This is Solana. Now, two things are going to happen with Solana between now and November. The first thing is people are going to have a short-term memory about that mainnet problem. And the second thing is we're going to see Solana in a full-on correction. It is out now in the 140s. We're probably going to see Solana move down into around a 130 mark. And I think that's the opportunity where we see a re-entry point. This conference, though, Breakpoint, interesting name, Breakpoint for Solana is happening in November. This is the one I feel like could unhitch the team and the Solana, investors all over again and potentially get us another altcoin season run up with Solana. And you have to remember how investing works with these altcoins. It's usually where the retail investors are flocking around one particular area, one particular coin. Solana happened to be the one that everybody was riding to the elevator to the top around the 200 mark. Hopefully you sold and you got in and collected those profits, and you are now in a great position to re-enter in some of these new altcoins that have been falling. including things like Fantom, and maybe you're looking in at potentially going into Algorand or even Avalanche. Avalanche, of course, though, has had some pretty parabolic runs here in the last few. I want to talk about Avalanche because there's some cool things that are happening there. But before we get to that, here's another one that I think you got to revisit back into a potential of a re-entry point, and that's going to be Cardano. And I know a lot of people are going, wait a minute, Cardano, everybody, and you know, we have a lot of people that are just continuously state really bad things about Cardano, but yet at the same time, they have a big following, even though they are a little slow in being able to develop their run on Alonzo and getting in purple to really kind of perform. But COTI is a project that I've been watching for quite some time, and I really like this one in terms, but this is something that they just really kind of started to talk about, and this has been super busy building, haven't had an opportunity. Basically, they are saying that they're going to begin updating about things revolving around a brave partnership with Cardano. Those who follow the market have seen how fast Cardano has grown, third biggest currency. They are, being COTI, is in the throes of developing something cool with and for Cardano. This could be a big dual hit partnership that could affect both COTI and Cardano in a very positive way. So as you're watching both of these projects, Cardano's a little bit deflated right now. It could continue to see some more fall off. This may be a good time to go in and start packing your bags on Cardano. And when I say packing, meaning putting stuff in your bags. Let's take a look quickly. I want to go over to Trade the Chain and take a look at where Cardano is just to kind of get a quick ADA. And still holding in. Let's go to the 7-day. Yeah, so you can still see the falling sentiment here for Cardano, and of course the movement here that's pushing this price point down. So this, you know, it's what I always say, buy in the red, sell in the green. This is one of those projects that I'm still a big fan of. It's just a situation that you've got to know when to invest. You're just not a big fan of Cardano at $3. Maybe you're a big fan of Cardano at $2.37, or could it hit the 150 mark again and be a steal, especially if we start to see progress around COTI and a partnership over there. I also want to jump over here to the Avalanche ecosystem. This is another one that you guys know that we've talked about on the show here. We've had John Wu on a couple of times, and we continue to bring these early stage tokens on way before they break out. Now, I want you to think about that. If you're watching TechPath right now for the first time, we're bringing on founders, CEOs, lead project development heads in a phase in which we're doing a lot of research and finding out, and of course, getting a lot of information shared to us. We're the only channel that's doing it in the way that we do it, which is through sentiment analysis and amplification analysis to early identify a lot of these projects. The problem we have is we can't automate it fast enough to be able to identify more projects faster. We're going as fast as we can to really kind of get into some of these, and guess what happens? We go in, we look at Avalanche almost 3 months ago when Avalanche was trading at a considerably lower rate than where it is now. But I want you to look at this ecosystem right here. Avalanche ecosystem rapidly expanding, private securities, ILOs, DEXs, synthetics, stablecoins. You look at it, all just 4 months since the launch of the mainnet. Look at the powerhouse of projects that are coming at Avalanche, mainly because this is a very solid product and it's a very solid team that's building on this. There are some interesting things I think that await Avalanche. So could we see Avalanche continue its move? I want to jump over to the chart real quick and just show you where this thing has come from. And let's take a look back here when we identified Avalanche, right about here at right at $9.30. So you know that's essentially when we started really looking into understanding what Avalanche was doing. And of course, it's now trading at the $66 mark, hovering in right here. We continue to see sentiment flying right there. So I still think there's some room for Avalanche, mainly again because of this recent $230 million investment they've received. Also the ability, and again, that's going to be built into building out their mainnet, all of their partnerships. I think there's something big in the wings for Avalanche above what they've been doing, including all of their evolution of Avalanche Rush, the Avalanche conversion project between 2.0 and 3.0. So much happening there, I think, is a big one. So Avalanche is another one I continue to say. Audius, which you guys will already have learned a little bit about. Again, I think this is a token of, it's one that we've talked about on the show before. We like it. This one is a little weird because we missed it in the early phase right here, because obviously this is the Katy Perry bump and the movement of traditional entertainment moving into this blockchain world of audio and creator. So I do think Audius is a play here. But the cool thing is our sentiment still had it going up. Amplification just was underscored because we did not know about this right here, which was the big news that, of course, moved Audius. I do think we'll see a little bit of that moving. Again, Solana, our scorecard right here, we're still predicting Solana on a downward trend. So our point of purchase could be somewhere around the $129, $128 mark. I know that's terrible to say because Solana right here at its all-time high was hovering around the 215 mark. So this could be another entry point for Solana, and also because of what's been happening with their events. Again, Fantom, Solana, and Cardano, all three have big things coming. Could be timing them at the right time and a new entry point. Avalanche, a little late stage. We'll probably see a lot of FOMO coming in, but there are potentials for Avalanche. Algorand, you've heard me talk about Algorand a lot, and Algorand I continue to see as a much more slower moving project, but one that has yet to pop. And I think that's the thing. And let me just look at the Algorand chart right here. You can kind of see the movement that we saw. But back in the day, Algorand was really just a up and down, consistent project. And then people started to uncover the ecosystem, the team, and also the functionality of what Algorand is doing. Nice thing right here, 65.83 up from a 63.09. That's the amplification. So we will start to see, I feel like we'll start to see some more action on Algorand and potentially another jump up here, maybe to around the $2.50 mark, which could be a big one. So those are the altcoins that you need to be looking at. And I know a lot of these are, projects that maybe you've invested in the past that you exited and took some great profits, and you've been looking at all these new altcoins that are coming into the scene. Where do you invest? Maybe these are perfect for a new rerun. That's the project that I think you should be going for, and that is the direction I'm going in October. Again, we do these market movers. Time to time, we'll do these in terms of analysis on the data, pull in some of our insider research, and then, of course, give that to you so you can go out and make your own decisions. Not investment advice for you, but definitely, hopefully it's getting you on the education side so you can kind of make your own decisions out there and your own program. So if you're listening over on the podcast, make sure and give us some thumbs up over there. And of course, here on YouTube, best thing to do is subscribe to the channel. You'll get more notifications, and you can reach out to me on Twitter. We'll catch you next time right here on TechPath.